Hi, this is Scott Hubbard. A couple of days ago, I saw what I consider to be one of the most exciting finishes to an Olympic swimming event that I've ever seen. It was the men's 4x100 freestyle relay. Uh, some of the very top teams were there. The French team, I think, they were heavily favored, and they were the world record holders. There was the Australians, and there was the United States team. You've probably seen a replay of that race, or maybe at least read about it. Very exciting race. uh, One of the French swimmers, top French swimmers, had said earlier in the week that the French team was going to smash the Americans. And most of the journalists that were there said that they expected the French team to win. Michael Phelps was the first swimmer for the Americans. This is not one of Michael's real strong events. So when he finished his 2 laps, the Americans were they were slightly behind the leaders. But as the race progressed, the Americans fell further and further behind. So that is when the final swimmer for the Americans, Jason Lezak, took to the water. And at that time, I would say he was probably more than a full body length behind the leaders, the French team. Let me just set the scene for you now. Jason Lezak was the oldest member of the U.S. swimming team. He was swimming against guy by the name of Alan Bernard, who was the world record holder for the event. So this was his event. This was his specialty. And by the way, Bernard, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name, but he was the one that was doing the trash talking for the French earlier in the week. So, the work was really cut out for Lezak. After the first 50 meters, after half of what Lezak was swimming, he was still probably more than a half body length behind Bernard. And I could hear the announcers saying that there was absolutely no way that he would be able to catch the Frenchman, but that maybe he could hold off the Australians and win the silver medal for the U.S. team. But he wouldn't give up. He kept coming on and was gradually cutting into the lead. He had half of a lap to go. He was still pretty far behind, and I could hear the announcers again saying that he was looked like he was going to be able to hold off the Australians and win the silver, but there was no way he could catch Bernard. But he continued to gain on him. And for those of you who have seen the race, you know how exciting it was up to the very end. The final stroke that Lezak took allowed him to overtake Bernard. He was able to win the race by 0.08 of a second. Extremely close. And so the United States team was able to win the gold medal. There's so much that we can learn from this race, so much that we can apply to our life, to our business. I think most of you know that I'm in network marketing. I'm an entrepreneur, so there's much you can apply to your business. First of all, don't give up. I read an interview about Lezak, and he said that when he realized he was so far behind, he thought for just a brief instant that there's absolutely no way, but that he quickly got that thought out of his mind, and with sheer guts and determination and focus, he was able to not only overtake Bernard, he was able to swim the fastest 100-meter freestyle in the history of this world. What an event. Second lesson that we can learn is to focus on the process. Lezak swam completely within himself. He focused on maintaining the form with each, the proper form with each stroke he took. So he focused on the process. A third lesson is to not dwell on negative chatter. He had heard the statements that were made by the French team. He had heard the opinions expressed by the journalists. All four of the guys did. They didn't let that bog them down. In fact, I think that gave them more incentive to win. And a final lesson, a fourth lesson, and there are probably so many other ones that we can pull from this race, but it's just to work as a team. If any member of the U.S. team had failed to give it their very best, then the United States would have had to settle for a lesser medal, or possibly no medal at all. So it took every one of those guys out there doing their very best for them to win the gold. As of today, Michael Phelps has 6 gold medals. The Olympics are not over. If he wins one more, he will tie Mark Spitz for the most medals won in a specific Olympics games. And then he will have a chance, possibly, of winning an 8th gold medal, which would break the record in his final event, his 8th event. An unbelievable achievement. But I was thinking, if several years from now, when Phelps is asked what was his most memorable event in the 2008 Olympics, I'm almost willing to bet that he's going to say it was that 4x100 freestyle relay. It was certainly not his best race, but here there were 4 guys pulling together, working their tails off, giving it everything they could to win a gold medal. Certainly, in network marketing, we can learn so much from what happened in this race. We can learn to not give up. We can learn to focus on the process. We can learn not to dwell on negative chatter. And we can learn to work as a team and not as individuals. I wish you the very best.